Assalamualaikum, hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this story, I want to try to analyze that story. The title is After 20 Years Story. Okay, before we continue, I want to ask you about some things. The first, is there knows what story tells about? And the second, why the story is so important for us? And the third, what the essence of that story? If you don't know about that story, I wanna tell you about some information. Start from that theme, that character, that setting, that plot, and etc. Okay guys, I want to tell you one by one or step by step to analyze that story. Check it out. Okay guys, now I want to explain about my question number 2 and number 3. The question is, why story is the important for us? Because that story tells of a friendship that is never forgotten, even though they have been both far away and have never met her. And what the essence of the story? In After 20 Years story tells of a friendship that names James Well and Bob. Okay, they have long had friendship and finally they were reunited for the next 20 years. Despite the way the universe found them with a different story. It's said that Jimmy is looking for someone who has done a crime and that person is his old friend. Jimmy was hesitated for the theme of 20 years. The theme of After 20 Years story is the friendship of policeman and con artist who is caught up and a composition that runs his friendship. And how about the characteristic or the characterization? In that story, there are 3 characters. The first is Jimmy's Well, the second is Bob, and the third is Jimmy CO worker. Jimmy's Wells, he is protagonist. He is 14 years old, brave, responsible, and honest. And Bob, he is antagonist because he is a criminal whose behavior has broken the law of the past 20 years, but he is a loyal friend. And he is 38 years old, maybe. How about Jimmy CO Walker? Jimmy CO Walker is a policeman. He is a cop posing as Jimmy to catch Bob. The next is the setting of After 20 Years story. The setting of place in New York Street and tool stop. And the setting of time at the night. Atmosphere uncertain and suspicious. And how about the point of view? The point of view is the third person limited. Okay, next tells about plot. Okay, the first is exposition. The exposition, when there is a police officer on duty or patrolling at 9 p.m. around the street of New York. The policeman saw a man near a shop door. Then the policeman came up to him. After the policeman, the man, known to be named Bob, The man also told the purpose of the establishment near the shop, where he was waiting for his old friend named Jimmy Whale, whom he wants to meet after 20 years. Okay, the next is rising action. At first Bob felt he didn't recognize the figure of the man who approached him, who claimed to Jimmy Wells, because Bob felt that Jimmy Hicks was now much higher than him compared to him, who was much shorter than Bob. But the man who claimed to be Jimmy was trying to convince Bob to believe that he was Bob's old friend he was waiting for. The conflict went after a while. Taking Bob began to realize that something was different from the shape of Jimmy's nose. Because of the Bob was sure that the person he was with was not his old friend. The following action. The following action. When Bob read the letter given by the police, he was surprised and didn't think that the officer he had previously met her the star was Jimmy Wells, but he didn't know reveal his identity because in fact Jimmy Wells already knew that Bob was one for guilty of being soaked in Chicago. Again, the last is tells about the moral value about that story or after 20th story. The moral value is do not be easily prejudiced against others because what we think is not necessarily true and in accordance with reality. Um, I think that's all about my analysis from after years after 20 years story. Sorry if I have a mistake. I'm so sorry. See you. Goodbye.